Have you ever wondered who pays for your free social media platforms? Has it occurred to you that an age-old saying that there is nothing for free may be the case here? Screen time. Screen time has replaced face-to-face time as the preferred mode of communication in the digital age. In this new dispensation, your face on the screen is currency. Your face on the screen is what pays for your free access to online platforms. Your face, then, is the dollar bill. Your face is the pound sterling. Your face is the local currency in your respective geography. Welcome to the Digitalk series. This segment is on screen time. In today's business model, more screen time equals more advertising money for big tech corporations. And the faces on those screens are those of our children, the elderly, and all in between. In a New York Post article published in 2016 by Dr. Nicholas Kadaras, Dr. Peter Wybrow, Director of Neuroscience at UCLA, a reputable educational institution, called screens, listen to this, electronic cocaine because of their addictive effects. In the same article, Dr. Andrew Doan, the head of addiction research for the Pentagon and the US Navy, called video games and screen technologies digital pharmakia. Pharmakia is a Greek word for drug, meaning that digital drug. Technology has created a global experiment, using our children and us as guinea pigs. The impact on the children, the developing brains, is nothing short of astounding. Listen to this clip from Espresso.
Now, raising kids today seems to come with multimedia screens. From a very early age, the world of TV, computers and cell phones have become cultural norms. Now, as a result, more children are showing signs of something that is called tech-induced hyper-aroused nervous systems. Now, this morning we chat to our creative parenting expert, Nikki Bush, about this mouthful topic, basically, can I say.
It is really. And you know, the thing is that it's actually as big a problem as the mouthful of words you've just said.
Wow, well, I can just imagine.
Yeah, because what they've actually found is that kids who are overdosing on screens, their frontal cortex of their brain, when they do brain imaging, is responding exactly the same as if they'd taken cocaine.
Are you serious?
Yeah. So this is called, these devices, when they're being abused and overused, are being called digital cocaine.
Yeah. So let's talk about this. Tech-induced hyper-aroused nervous system. Okay, this condition, what exactly is it? And I mean, what are some of the signs and symptoms that parents should be looking out for?
Okay, so as we know, technology can be used positively or negatively. It's neutral. It's what we do with it and how much we do with it that makes it good or bad.
Addiction science has been with us for many years. We have known drug addiction. We have known alcohol addiction and other addictive behaviors. We have never known, though, internet addiction. Listen to Tristan Harris, a former Google executive, explain how it all starts.
At Stanford, there was a class called the Persuasive Technology Design class, and there's a whole lab at Stanford that teaches students how to apply persuasive psychology principles into technology to persuade people to use products in a certain way. So it's not about giving you all this freedom, it's about sucking you in to take your time.
So the goal is to keep us on our devices longer. Why?
For any company whose business model is advertising or engagement-based advertising, meaning they care about the amount of time someone spends on the product, they make more money the more time people spend. So the game becomes, how can I throw different persuasive techniques to get people to stay, to spend as long as possible, and to come back tomorrow.
I know technology has brought countless benefits to humanity. In fact, it is precisely because of advanced technology that global activities surrounding the corona pandemic have been able to limp along, albeit at a slower pace. I get it. I'm IT trained and worked for a tech company for 22 years. 15 of those years I worked in the high-performance computing department, building massive systems used in weather forecasting, climate research, oil and gas exploration, quantum mechanics, and other research and development projects that have monumentally changed our way of life. While doing this, I never once imagined that these systems would be used to profile us and our children for corporate profits. The path to tech addiction was deliberate and carefully developed. Listen to a Facebook founder and former president confess to this very issue.
But now, former Facebook president Sean Parker is sounding the alarm about the potentially addictive nature of social media.
Like, what is that doing to people's brain?
Speaking at an Axios event Wednesday, Parker, who worked with Mark Zuckerberg to develop Facebook, with a bombshell claim, saying the site was intentionally built to hook you.
That thought process was all about how do we consume as much of your time and conscious attention as possible. It's a social validation feedback loop because you're exploiting a vulnerability in human psychology.
The 38-year-old mogul admits he, along with other pioneers of social media, knew what they were doing.
We understood this consciously, and we did it anyway.
According to Common Sense Media, a US-based company, kids under 2 spend 42 minutes per day on the screen. Kids between 2 and 4 spend 2.5 hours per day on the screen. Kids between 5 and 8 spend nearly 3 hours per day on the screen. These are pre-COVID numbers. The latest Pew research showed that screen time has increased by 500% amid the pandemic. 66% of parents in this survey say that parenting has become harder today as compared to years past. Parents are no longer the primary source of information on a lot of issues that impact their children. Why? There is an alternate path that is free of criticisms and the stare that a parent will give a child, and that is social media. Worse, children could be mimicking their parents who themselves are constantly online and on the screen. Paraphrasing perhaps the most famous African writer, things are falling apart and the center can no longer hold. The once vibrant playgrounds are empty because our children are on the screen. The words bored and boring constantly echo in our housing chambers, our family social events, upcountry or in our cars whenever technology is not available. While these devices turn our children into social misfits, tech CEOs are jealously protecting their own. Please listen to a former Facebook executive, Chamath, talk about his family and what goes on within the confines of his home.
So what goes on in the Polyhopatia household?
There's no screen time whatsoever.
None?
None.
So forget about it. Let's not even talk. Your Facebook is not just off limits. You're talking no iPads?
None.
None. How old are
Now
the kids?
that's it. I have 3, 8, 9, 7, and 5.
And do they ask?
Oh, all the time, because their friends have it all the time.
Movies?
A little bit if we have to.
But no computers at all?
You know, here's the life that I live with my children, which may not be for everyone. I said I don't like this codependency of they need to rely on me, and when they can't, I feed them a device because that becomes a babysitter. You go figure it out. Go outside, skin your knee, fall on the ground, play a sport, lose at something, and then come back to me and we can talk about it. And we'll talk about it as rational human beings, and I'll try to tell you why that's a good thing that just happened to you. Versus, here you are, I'm in a baby because I have something else to do. And so we've made these conscious choices. I've made these conscious choices, but they're conscious. And what I was trying to get across, and I could have done it more articulately, is it needs to be more of a conscious choice.
According to Business Insider Africa, Bill Gates, the former CEO of Microsoft, implemented a cap on screen time when his daughter started developing an unhealthy attachment to a video game. He also didn't let his kids get cell phones until they turned 14. Steve Jobs, who was the CEO of Apple until his death in 2012, revealed in a 2011 New York Times interview that he prohibited his kids from using the newly released iPad. Chris Anderson, the former editor of Wired and founder of tech blog GreekDad.com, is quoted in the New York Times, 2018. And I read, "We have seen the dangers of technology firsthand. I've seen it in myself. I don't want to see that happen to my kids. On the scale between candy and crack cocaine, it's closer to crack cocaine. This is my closing statement for this segment. To all parents, grandparents, and all who are within the hearing of my voice. Technology has brought meaningful change, but change is about managing the risks while enjoying the benefits. We have ignored the risks and turned our dinner tables into tablets. Remember, the internet does not know or love your child. The internet does not have your values. The internet does not have your compassion. The internet does not care about what is appropriate or what is not for your child. Technology does not know or care about your standards, bedtime, or family rituals. Google will answer your children's questions without knowing their age or their emotional state. To the internet, your child is an avatar, a file, a number that is called as soon as your child logs in, and then manipulated for corporate profits. You now know who's paying for your free social media access. You also now know that excessive screen time is dangerous for your children. And you, if you want to know how you're being profiled and retained on the social media platforms, please watch the next video.